Stuka Joe here. This is a test video. I'm going to do things a little bit differently for the Civil War playthrough, and I just wanted to let you know. Now, you're seeing this microphone. This is the Apogee microphone that is specially built for the iPhone, which I use for all of my videos, but I won't be using this microphone for this one. This is a solid microphone, very heavy, and I attach some pieces of Velcro because normally I attach it to the one of the legs of my tripod, and then I move around with the camera behind the camera while I speak. And that's fine if the game has a small map, but this game has actually more than one map. You're seeing here the part of the map that is tracks and the turned record track and other tracks to keep information. And there's, of course, the main map. So what I am using instead of the Apogee microphone is a wireless system. And that is this ECM AW4 Sony wireless microphone. And it consists of a transmitter and a receiver. And this is what I attach to the tripod and to the camera. And I'm wearing this as a lapel, and it has a built-in microphone, and sounds pretty good. I mean, the quality is not the same as the Apogee, but it's still good. After all, this is not classical music you're going to hear here. I think it does the job well. Now, I wanted to show you some things that are slightly different from the original game that I will be using here. The game includes army markers, such as this one. This one reads Army of the West. And if we are using one of these markers in the game, what we simply do is just place the army marker on top of the leader of the army and any other leaders that are accompanying or are in the army, and that is fine. Now, the only problem with this is that you see the army, but you don't know who's commanding the army. And let's suppose that this particular army is going to engage in battle with a force. Here you have Fremont's force, so you can see that it is a force and not an army. And in this game, armies have special capabilities and limitations. So you would be able to note that this army under the command of who knows is battling Fremont here. Now, what I intend to use is this block here, and the way it works is that instead of the army marker, we have the block, and we have the commander of the army on top. So now you know, for example, that Fremont, and with his force, is adjacent to the Army of the West under the command of Albert Sidney Johnston. And from afar, you would be able to determine that there is an army there. And armies, again, have special capabilities, and it's an easy way of differentiating between armies and forces. Another thing I will be using is counters different, or markers different than these. These are the Confederate markers to keep track of command points and reinforcements. Now, the Confederate markers are fine. The letter is a little bit too small. And the Union markers, on the other hand, you have that the blue is a little dark and it's hard to read sometimes. So I made new counters for these, to substitute these markers. And here they are. They are not finished yet. I have to trim a little bit the sides here and clip the corners. But these will be the markers that I will use, which are easier to distinguish than the other ones and are a lot more easier to read. The same thing happens with these markers here in the resource allocation track. We will be substituting these counters with counters that are much easier to read, and the same thing happens with these markers here for Confederate imports and Confederate production. Here we're looking at the combat results table, and you can see that it is odds and differential based. For example, we have 1 to 3, 1 to 2, and then -3 and -4 is resolved in this column, -2, -1, 0, and so forth, and then you get back to odds here, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Now, perhaps in the first two combats I will show the complete procedure how to resolve combat, but after that we will be using these markers to denote on which specific column the combat will be resolved. So you will be seeing these markers for the combat odds, and then you see that the results for combat can be, for example, in this case, demoralized and 1 strength point loss, no effect, 1 strength point lost, demoralized and 2 strength point losses. And so we will be using these markers to denote losses. That these would be losses for the Union, demoralized, and 3 losses. And we also, of course, have markers of losses for the Confederates. And you will be seeing also those markers. And also there are markers that we will use for column shifts. In this game there are column shifts to the left, which are the majority. For example, one column shift to the left for defender being in a forest hex or in a fort, or the attacker had to cross a navigable river hex side. And then you have 2 column shifts, for example, if the defender's in a swamp hex, fortress hex, or the attacker had to cross a navigable river hex side, or a gap or road hex side. And we will also use these markers to denote, when we are explaining the combat sequence, the column shifts that apply. And for example, if a defender's in a swamp, you'll see this. If he is in a forest, we'll just flip it. And we will use these in combination with the result markers to explain the combats in the game. As to dice, the game normally brings 4 white dice, but we will use these color-coded, red for the south and blue for the north, to denote which side is rolling which die for game purposes. Now, the advantage of the wireless system is that it allows me to move the camera rapidly, and there should be no fluctuation in the volume of the microphone. For example, I'm moving the camera now, and of course you will not see these brusque or brisk movements, but right now I'm really far away from the camera, and you're looking at a typical shot here of the Trans-West Theater. And I can quickly move the camera to the situation here around Washington and North Virginia here. And the volume of the microphone is always the same. Now you're taking a look at the charts and tables. So this is the end of this test video with this wireless system and the other gadgets. Oh, I forgot one more thing. For the allocation, resource theater allocation, there's a table that is used when you play solitaire. You roll for the Confederates, and it's in the rule book. We will be using this table, and you will probably see the table right next to the resource allocation chart, and we'll have the die roll. And this table determines what will be the priorities of the Confederates during the turn in question. So these are the things that we will be using in this video, and this is the test video. So that's it for now, and let's see how this game plays out. I'll be playing the 1861 scenario. So this is Stuka Joe signing off. See ya.